There was a time when clowns were seen as harmless, a source of laughter, silly faces and oversized shoes, bringing joy to birthday parties and cheering up hospital rooms. But something shifted over the years, something dark. Today, for many, the sight of a clown doesn't bring laughter. It brings a chill, an uneasiness. And when you hear the sound of squeaky shoes behind you, even in daylight, your instincts scream that something isn't right. Maybe it's the painted smile that never moves. Maybe it's the fact that you can't tell who's hiding underneath that makeup. Or maybe it's because somewhere deep down we know a smile that never changes might be hiding something dead inside. Tonight, I'm going to share 5 true stories, not from movies, not urban legends, but from real people. Real accounts of clown encounters so terrifying they haunt their lives to this day. So turn off the lights, put your phone on silent, and if you hear laughter while you listen, don't look out the window. Let's begin. They were just a group of bored teens looking for something to do on a summer night. Claire, Jason, Matt, and Lacey had heard rumors about the old Barlow farm, abandoned for nearly 4 decades, overgrown with wild corn, decaying barns, and memories of a traveling circus that once performed just beyond the tree line. The legend was simple. After the circus vanished in the 1980s, locals claimed strange sightings in the cornfields. Some saw shadows in the mist. Others heard carnival music coming from nowhere. But no one had stepped foot there in years. So naturally, these teens had to go. It was nearly dusk when they reached the field. The first thing they noticed were the signs, brittle, curled posters stuck to trees. Mirko, the marvelous clown, 1 night only. The ink was faded, the paper torn by wind and time. But the image of the clown, wide-eyed, wide-mouthed, was unmistakable. They laughed it off, pushing deeper into the rows of corn. Then came the sound, laughter, distant, but not that distant. Claire described it like a skipping record, fake and looping, as if someone were trying to sound joyful, but didn't know how. At first, they thought it was a speaker, maybe a prank, but there were no wires, no footprints, just the corn and the clown. He stood motionless at the end of the row, his makeup caked on like dried paint. His suit was torn, almost like it had grown into him, and in his hand, a balloon. But instead of string, it was tied with a frayed shoelace. And what it was tied to looked disturbingly like part of a jawbone. Matt shouted at the clown, thinking it was a dare, a prank by another group. The clown didn't respond, didn't move, didn't blink. Then Claire's flashlight slipped from her hand. Darkness. When she turned it back on, he was gone. They ran, but something followed. Not footsteps. Something softer. Something like the swish of corn brushing against clothes. The laughter came again. Only this time, it echoed from behind them. Then ahead of them. Then all around. They made it to the road, panting and terrified. They never returned. 2 weeks later, Matt vanished during a late-night walk. His shoes were found beside the cornfield, and tied to the laces was a balloon. Sarah just wanted to throw her son Jake the best 6th birthday ever. She planned everything: dinosaur cake, backyard decorations, and, of course, a clown, something she knew kids still loved. The clown was from a reputable agency. His name was Buttons. The photo showed a clean, smiling performer with bright colors and friendly eyes. But what showed up wasn't Buttons. The man who arrived early wore a faded, blood-red suit. His face paint was smeared, uneven. His eyes dark, not brown or black, but hollow looking, like something was missing inside. And his grin wasn't painted happy. It was jagged, cracked at the edges. Sarah asked where Buttons was. The man claimed he was a last-minute replacement, flashing an ID with the company's name. She was busy, guests were arriving, so she let it slide. From the start, things felt wrong. The kids didn't laugh. The balloon animals were twisted into disturbing shapes. One looked like a spider eating a face, and instead of jokes, he performed silent tricks, pulling out old teeth from a box, playing eerie carnival music from a tape deck that kept skipping dot. Then he leaned down and whispered something in Jake's ear. Jake screamed, "Party over." Kids went home early. Sarah was furious and called the agency. Their response, "We never sent anyone. Buttons was in a car accident. He's in the hospital." Security footage showed the clown arriving, but not leaving. Police found the ID was fake. The number disconnected. The makeup might have been hiding scars. Sarah moved states 2 months later. Jake never talks about that day. He just avoids mirrors. And once, Sarah found him drawing that clown again and again with the words, "He said I'd laugh when I'm older." Ethan was 9 when he started hearing the laughter. It wasn't loud, just soft, like someone chuckling under their breath from inside the walls. His parents blamed it on his imagination. The old house made sounds, they said. Drafts, rats. But Ethan knew. Every night, it came from the curtains in his room. They weren't special curtains, just plain blue with stars. But they hid something. One night, Ethan pretended to sleep and peeked through his lashes. What he saw made his breath stop. A face. Just the tip of a nose. Then eyes. And the unmistakable shape of a grin, painted white, with red streaks that ran like blood down the chin. He screamed. His parents checked the room. Nothing. But Ethan knew he hadn't imagined it, so he did something brave. He set up his mum's old camcorder on the dresser, pointed it at the curtains, hit record. The next morning, he watched the footage. For hours, nothing. Then, at exactly 3:17 a.m., the curtains moved. Slowly, a pale hand reached through. Then the face, painted, silent, watching Ethan sleep. It stood there for 13 minutes, then vanished. The police searched the house in the attic. They found scraps of fabric, candy wrappers, and a Polaroid of Ethan asleep in his bed. Taken from inside the room, the clown was never caught. College student Dana worked nights at a party store. One shift, she accidentally spilled an entire bin of helium balloons. They floated toward the ceiling, causing a chaotic mess. A man in a cheap clown wig laughed from the corner. Just a customer. She thought. She smiled awkwardly and continued her shift. That night, around 12:30 a.m., she got a call. Unknown number. She ignored it. Then another, and another. Finally, she listened to the voicemail. Static. Then laughter, like a recording from a circus funhouse. Then, a voice. You dropped the balloons. She froze the next night. More calls. Now, the voice described her walk home, her clothes, what she ordered at the cafe. Panic set in. Police traced the number to a burner phone found in a sewer behind the party store. Security footage later showed the man in the clown wig entering the store again, this time at 2:57 a.m. The store was closed. The lights were off. He just stood there looking up at the balloons. Dana quit the next day. She still flinches at party stores. Linda was a night nurse in a children's hospital. Halloween night, a clown arrived during visitor hours. He was quiet but gentle, handing out balloon animals and small toys. The kids loved him, or so she thought. But later that night, one child had a panic attack. Another wet the bed. A third wouldn't stop crying. When Linda asked what happened, a 4-year-old whispered, "He said he'd come back when the moon bleeds." Chills ran through her. The clown had no record. No family claimed to have sent him. Hospital staff thought he was part of the entertainment committee, but the committee had hired no clown. CCTV showed him entering, smiling at the front desk, walking the halls, visiting rooms, but he never left. Not by elevator, not by stairs. He just vanished. 2 days later, a child in that ward died unexpectedly. The death had no cause, no warning. In her bed was a single red balloon tied to the forestand. No string, just hair. Some monsters hide in closets, some haunt abandoned houses, and some paint their faces, put on a smile, and come to your party. So the next time you hear a giggle in the dark, or see a balloon where it shouldn't be, don't ask questions, just run, because not all clowns are playing, some of them are hunting.